Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good night. My name's Loopy Lives Led, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla just got announced through a pretty cool art live stream, and then a trailer was dropped yesterday at the time of recording. And holy god, I cannot contain my excitement for this game. If you've seen my previous video, you knew that this was coming, and you know what my relationship with the Assassin's Creed franchise is. And you know I'm trying to replay all the games, or play for most of the games, up until this point, so I'm ready for Valhalla. And I am so excited. But one thing I've noticed, because I've been doing, even before I decided to make this video, so much research, because I was just like, there's so much information out of nowhere, I need to know all of it. A lot of places are lying when they say everything in Valhalla, and you read another article and it says, and it had something that wasn't said in the previous one. And because it's been a couple days and everything seemed to calm down a little bit, I've decided to compile a list of pretty much everything in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's not going to be everything, because I'm definitely not perfect. I am nowhere near perfect, but I've tried pretty hard. I've put quite a few hours of research into this, watched countless YouTube videos, read a ton of articles. So, without further ado, this is pretty much everything in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So Assassin's Creed Valhalla is set in the 9th century in England, and you play as Nordic warriors, or Vikings. The director is the same man who directed Black Flag and Origins, and basically the whole idea is that the Vikings and the Nordic people are pretty sick of Norway. It's small, there's not enough place to expand, there's a lot of war, and it's terrible for farming and food. So they start to settle England in what's known as the Dark Ages, and at this point it's still split up into 4 rival kingdoms. Now, it looks to be that the antagonist of the game is King Alfred, and you play as Eivor. I'm guessing that's how it's pronounced, because that's how the director pronounced it in an interview, but it's spelt like this. So, really, it's anyone's guess. And you, the protagonist, are either female or male, and later in game there's even more customization in that. You can change your beard, obviously, if you're a male, your hair, tattoo, and armor will be customizable. The armor system is going to be just like Origins, and Odyssey. I actually don't know about Origins, but I think it's like Origins. It's just like Odyssey, where it was upgradable. So basically you can keep the same set of armor throughout the entire game, and there might actually be a reason to do that, because every single bit of gear in this game is looking to be unique. I don't know if it's true, but it sounds crazy. So the male you can see on the screen right now, and the female can be seen in a screenshot and a different collector's set in a figurine. And a bit more story stuff. You become the leader of the people for unknown reasons. Are you originally the leader? Do you become a leader? I don't know, but it's your job to lead the people and help them settle, which we'll talk about later in part 2. So you can see a lot of stuff that the Vikings aren't necessarily just warriors as well, and obviously England doesn't really think this. You can see in the trailer, it's like condescending. King Alfred's talking about they kill without mercy, and then they don't kill without mercy. So they're not as bad as people may think, and there's going to be maybe a hidden side of the Vikings, which you haven't seen before in other forms of media, and we'll see a more regular civilization set of Vikings instead of just heartless killers and monsters. The Norse god Odin, which is kind of one of the big gods in Norse mythology, seems to be a bit of a key player. He can be seen in statues twice in trailer, one when setting up a settlement, and one in the settlement in Norway, and also can be seen in the battle, which is shown in the trailer. Is that really Odin? I don't know, we'll talk about that in part 3, which is the theory sections. Now, if you played Odyssey, or even know anything about it, you'll know there was a lot of criticism, because it didn't even have any assassins in it, or Templars. It was just a game that happened in the Assassin's Creed universe that had Isu and Isu's tech, but there was no assassins. There was no age-old battle between the assassins and the Templars. However, they're going to be returning in this game, but the assassins are still called the Hidden Ones from Origins, and the Templars are still called the Order of the Ancients from Origins. So that's what they'll be referred to, but they are the assassins and the Templars. Now, so far, it said that the release is Holiday 2020, but we don't have a specific release date within that window. It's going to be releasing on Xbox Series X, Xbox One, PS4, PS5, PC, and even Stadia, which is somehow not dead yet. Xbox copies will be implementing a special cross-generational feature. Honestly, can't remember the name. If I remember during editing, I'll put it up on the screen. But basically means buying either version will allow you to play the other for free. So if I buy the Xbox One version before I get an Xbox Series X, I'll also get the Xbox Series X version once I get the different console. A4 also seems to have a Raven, which could be similar to how other Assassins have had Eagles. We'll talk about that more in theories, but Eagles have been a big feature in the Assassin's Creed franchise, and maybe because Eagles aren't necessarily in Norway or wherever, it's going to be Ravens instead. Now, depending on where you look at this is either fortunately or unfortunately, but it's still an RPG style like Origins on Odyssey. I personally like it quite a bit, and it's also been confirmed by Ubisoft to be fully open world once again, kind of like Odyssey and Origins. I haven't played Origins yet, I'm just making a lot of assumptions here. Dialogue decisions were a big addition to Odyssey, and they are coming back, and they seem to be even more important, and Ubisoft themselves have said sometimes a silver tongue is more useful than a steel sword, and this comes from knowledge that diplomacy there's different ways to play. You could be a raging barbarian like the English people think you are, or you can use diplomacy and make friends within England, which means there's going to be a lot of different experiences, which is really cool. So it is really being an RPG. You could befriend factions, battle factions. It's all looking to be very, very fun. Now, I promised we were going to talk about it, and I'm going to right now. The big part of the game are settlements. Well, one settlement. It's looking like one settlement. You have one settlement, and you have to build it, and it's your new area where your entire Viking group is now settling in England because it's a much better climate. It's going to be fully customizable, fully upgradable, and there's going to be different buildings you can build, and decorations as well. Some of the examples of buildings would be blacksmiths and tattoo parlors, stuff like that. To quote Ubisoft themselves, there's apparently a ton of buildings, and this is really going to affect how you play. Apparently, according to Ubisoft, the motivation for everything in the game is building up your settlement and helping your civilization thrive. Each building apparently has a gameplay purpose as well, and many events will change depending on how your settlement has grown. You'll also return to your settlement after every mission, so it'll be sort of like at home base. I haven't played Red Dead Redemption 2 yet, but I've heard it described as kind of like the camp in Red Dead Redemption 2, but with a lot more options for stuff to do. Another big part of the game it's looking like, this is something that sounds really cool to me, are raids. Basically, you can have a raiding party, which is customizable. It's looking like you can select that from a group of people, and also make your own custom raiders and share. More about that later, but they can be on your ship if you're sailing, which we'll talk about later, to a fortress, and they will be with you to help raid fortresses of English soldiers and maybe even other settlements, and possibly even other Viking clans. We don't know too much. You get like resources to help you build more buildings in your settlement, so it'll actually be a big purpose for raiding to help you grow your settlement. You could also stealth. You could maybe leave your raiding party, which would be so cool, and you sneak into a fortress and take it out all yourself like a true assassin. That was one of my favourite features in Odyssey, finding a big fort and just sneaking around and stabbing or shooting everyone with my bow. I thought that was really fun, and I hope that's back again. It's looking to be really cool. You're going to have a lot of decision. Say you're low on food, your settlement's low on food, you could increase your agriculture, or if you want to be a bit more aggressive, you can go raid English settlement and take all their food. They might both have pros and cons. Hopefully, I hope it's not really, you've got a choice, but you don't really have a choice. Maybe something like, if you farm will take longer, but if you take your raiding party with you, it's dangerous, and also your city will be left without protection. And also it's looking like each time you leave your settlement, you can choose whether or not to take your raiding party with you. Not 100% sure on that, but that would be pretty cool. And yeah, raiding will apparently expand your reach beyond your settlement, which is going to be really cool. Maybe you can take over fortresses as well, and maybe leave some members of your raiding party. Not too sure, but that's just what Ubisoft said. Raiding will expand your reach beyond your settlement. Now, I said I was going to talk about it, the Viking longship, so ships like from Odyssey are back. It's not sure if there's going to be naval combat, but it's about travelling navally, and it's going to be a big part in raiding, like seaside fortresses, getting your whole raiding party on a ship, and going on an adventure with the boys. It's looking to be pretty cool. It's going to be customizable, kind of like Odyssey, where you can upgrade different parts of your ship and get skins, different flags, different headers for your ship, which was... they're seeming to put quite a few microtransactions in, which isn't great, but it's looking to be more pay to cosmetic. I didn't say that right, but not pay to win. It is a single player game, so pay to win isn't really that bad, but it is still kind of annoying to know, oh, I could just spend money to get all this stuff. And another massive play, we've got so many massive plays here in the gameplay section, is combat. Of course, combat's pretty important in action RPG. It's apparently highly expanded, and it's a lot more custom now. You can deal with pretty much anything. Swords, axes, and a lot of people are talking about this, so I don't want to be generic, but, you can dual-wield shields as well. Everyone's like, I don't know how that's gonna work, so I'm not gonna say it, but I don't know how that's gonna work. Probably you bump people with your shields, but really hard, so they fall over. And there's also other sorts of weapons, also, that we've never seen before, like flails, and also different types of enemy classes, which was a big problem with Odyssey. Pretty much every weapon, every enemy, except for the mercenaries and the occasional boss, had the exact same weapon, pretty much. And it was pretty boring. You've basically seen every type of enemy 5 or 10 hours in. But apparently, a big goal for this game is enemy variety. Ubisoft specifically said, even more than 20 hours in, you should still be seeing brand new types of enemies which you've never seen before, which is going to make a lot of things more interesting, because I know that was a big criticism of Odyssey. And with dual wielding and all these types of weapons, it's going to work. You can see this picture on the screen right now, a big flailing man. That's going to be there's going to be different ways to deal with that, different than, say, a sword man or an axe man or a shield man as well. You can throw axes, which we've seen in the trailer, so it's not 100% sure if that's going to be actually part of the gameplay, but it was a big thing in the trailer, so hopefully that's also in gameplay, and that's also going to be bows most likely, and of course, a big thing, the Hidden Blade is finally returned. For some reason, it's going to be on top, though, which we will discuss a little bit in part 3. Now, the combat looks extremely brutal, honestly. Decapitation, body piercing, and it's described as Ubisoft as wanting to have every hit having a crunch and feeling heavy, which sounds awesome, quite honestly. Like I said before, you can build custom Viking raiders for your party and can share them between friends. There's not much detail on it though, and I personally don't think it's going to be used too much because it's just not the sort of thing that gets used a lot in an RPG. I may be wrong, but I don't think it's going to be my key aspect of the game, making raiders and sharing them with my friends. There's going to be some other stuff for you to do in your settlement, hunting and drinking games, and flighting. This is another thing that everyone's been talking about, like, oh, what is this? I wonder what this is. It's described as Ubisoft as being Viking rap battles, and I actually did a little bit of research into it, and it's a real thing. It's spelled F-L-I, not I-Y, which I was a bit... that's why I couldn't find it at first. But yeah, apparently it was like poetic insults against your friends as a game, which is going to be very interesting to see how that works in Viking times. It's looking like you can take your hood off and on in any time, like in Origins, for like when you want to be a little bit more stealthy. And speaking of stealth, social stealth is back. You can hide in the crowd, just become, I'm just totally a regular Englishman with axes on my back. Like every single Englishman. And this section is going to be a little bit smaller, but I still wanted to make it, because some of the stuff is pretty interesting. So, this much is confirmed. At the start of the game, Eivor meets with the Hidden Ones, or the Assassins, and they see potential in him and give him a hidden blade. Now, we don't know why they do this. Now, from now on, it's just speculation, but he doesn't understand the point of it and wears it at the top of his wrist, as seen in the trailer, when he stabs the guy through the eye. Then, the whole move to England happens, and that battle in the trailer is the first major battle of the game, and kind of acts as a tutorial sequence. After the battle, Eivor's kind of Eivor's kind of proved himself worthy of the Hidden Blade, and the Hidden Ones fulfill his assassin training, and he fully becomes an assassin or a Hidden One. This could be the initiation-type ceremony we see at the start of the trailer. It could be when he gets his blade, or maybe he even travels back to Norway, where the assassins are based, and he's like their associate in England. This could be another use for ships, or this could also just be him becoming the leader for some reason. The next theory is about Odin being seen in the trailer, and the theory states he's either an Isu or an assassin. Isu would make sense, as he seems to be fantastical and maybe even turn into a raven, but then again, it could be an assassin, as like I said before, ravens could be the replacement for eagles in this time period and in this area. Also, could just be the actual god Odin, because even Odyssey wasn't afraid to step into Greek mythology. Maybe Valhalla it won't be afraid to step into some Norse mythology as well. It's going to make a really strange Assassin's Creed universe. We've got Isu now, we've got like minotaurs and stuff like that. It's going to be a very strange universe if we've got Thor now. I personally hope it's going to be assassins, and maybe they manipulate Eivor into thinking that the gods are with the assassins. Also, could be an assassin in league with Eivor, as maybe, as the director specifically said, he sees things and makes other people believe them, which is accompanied by a clip of the scene. So, it would make sense if he was working with the assassins and did that kind of to prove to the people and give them more morale and help them in the battle. Okay, so this bit is recorded like the next day. There's a new couple additions which I didn't get, and some new stuff that's come out. Item packs are once again going to be put in, so more microtransactions, and it's like Odyssey and Origins. This isn't including a skin for our Raven, which looks pretty cool, and it's looking to be similar to the Eagles in Origins and Odyssey, but less reliant on UI, meaning you actually have to spot stuff, like a campfire in the night, instead of a big marker being up there. We'll find out more on May 7th, which I forgot to mention as well, where we're having a full-on gameplay reveal at the Xbox Insider event. Even more exciting is a wolf mount included in the pack. It's unknown if the ability to have a pet wolf is included in here, or you just get a skin for a wolf, which you get for free just by playing the game, like the horse in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Or perhaps you get a horse as well, which really wouldn't make much sense for the Vikings, and then it's a wolf skin for your horse, which is going to be really cool, quite honestly, and is maybe convincing me to buy the Ultimate Edition of the game. I just noticed this while editing as well. This Ultimate Edition image that I'm showing also talks about a season pass, which means that there's gonna be DLC coming. I have mixed feelings about that. I still haven't played the DLC from Odyssey. Apparently it's pretty good, so maybe the DLC will be pretty good, but man, like, does it really need to be more microtransactions? It's looking to be a lot of microtransactions. And there's also a bonus mission available at launch, which I actually knew, but I forgot to write down in my notes, so then I didn't say it in the video. But it's called The Last Berserker, I believe, and there was an image with the bear on it, showing it, that's on screen right now, hopefully, if I can edit that in. And also, included in the Ultimate Pack is a set of runes, which I'm guessing are tattoos. Okay, that's all I wanted to say, I'm tired. Also, the voice actors have been confirmed. Magnus Brun has been confirmed as the voice actor for male Eivor. He's played a Viking in the Lost Kingdom TV shows. He's not unfamiliar with the Vikings. And Cecilia I'm not going to try and pronounce that, it's on the screen right now, has been confirmed for female Eivor. I don't know much about her, quite honestly. And there's a bit more explanation on consequences for your choices, weddings to form alliances, and quote-unquote consequences of harsh choices you'll have to face. So there's going to be some big choices which are going to change a lot of things according to Ubisoft. Once again, there's going to be romantic dialogue options like in Odyssey for people in your settlement, and settlement packs like item packs seem to be a thing with new buildings and decorations for your camp, which I am not a fan of, because especially if they're gameplay features, because that's just logging stuff behind a paywall. We'll have to see if we don't know much. It was just an image in a pre-order pack or something like that. Right now, a lot of news is coming out, so I'm going to try and make an episode maybe once a week, maybe the next 2 weeks. Next week it's going to be the big gameplay reveal, and I can make a big episode about that. Maybe the next week there'll be some more stuff, but as things calm down, I'll just make them when the need arises, and I think there's enough, because I want to keep you guys updated on this. as I am keeping updated on this, because it looks so much fun, and I'm really excited for it. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button. I've been your host, Loopy Laser Lad. That sounded god-awful, and bye.